Hi, it's Helen here from Make Better Decisions. I'm going to start today talking about things that look like they're diametrically opposed: data and analysis, and reason versus emotion and intuition. All decisions are emotional. That's the bottom line. Can't take the emotion out of the decision, nor would you want to. I'm going to talk about that, and even data driven decisions. So, these two great men, Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, who worked together and documented a lot of cognitive biases. And Daniel Kahneman says an organization is a factory that manufactures judgments and decisions. So, accordingly, every factory must have ways to ensure the quality of its products. So, how do we ensure the quality of decision making? How do we know about the framing of the problem, the collection of information, reflection and review? This is everything that we do here at Sonder Studio is about this cycle of decision making. Economists have shaped the baseline measure of human decision making for decades. Decisions are alternatives that are easy, that are able to be ranked, they're able to be described, they're rational choices. The actors are highly informed, know about the options, take into account all the choices available, and then choose the most satisfactory option. Emotions don't really play any part in decision making. Well, now we see that rational choice theory is out of step with modern day neuroscience. And I think we kind of all knew that at the level of our folk intuitions, right? It never really made sense that emotions weren't at play. Our preferences are not just strategically affected by the others around us and ourselves, they're massively influenced by the social structures in which we participate. And the brain is a social machine. That's how it does its calculation. Now, this is a map of cognitive biases. You could print them all off. You can print this off and put it on your wall. I have. I've done that to make a damn bit of difference to how well I made decisions. Very hard to look at this and have it intervene. And there's a good reason for that. That's just not how we make decisions. We make decisions based on our intuitive reactions versus slowing down and then making a more reasoned decision. So we always have this cycle of intuition, reason, emotion happening at some point or other. And if you grew up in the Western world, you've probably been told to purge emotion from decision making, that it will get in the way of a good decision. Well, that's not what modern neuroscience is telling us. Emotions are actually necessary for decision making. That at their best, feelings point us in the proper direction and take us to the right place in the decision space, where we put the instruments of logic to good use. We know how that feels, right? We look at something, we get a reaction to it, and then we go there. That process is the one that we need to actually start thinking about. We need to start being more aware of where our feelings are taking us, because they're going to be there always. All decisions are emotional. And recognizing that the future is understanding that emotion and cognition are partners. You can't separate them, they just work together. But then enter data and enter analytics. And we're told that there's this promise that there is an optimizable answer for a start, and there's only one. And for any given problem. And humans won't know it or be able to work it out. And that answer is because our judgment is fundamentally flawed, because we have these cognitive biases, because we can't think in the same way as a machine. The data has all the answers. Well, nonsense. It just can't possibly be true. And why can't it possibly be true? Well, we know it can't be true because we know that more data doesn't necessarily give us more insight. We also know that all data is about the past. And we also know the future is unpredictable. So we need a stable world for the data to be at its most useful. And we know that many things that matter to us can't yet be coded. We've been increasingly digitized, no question. That's our mission, is to make that better. But we still need to be able to manage the unmeasurable. And that's what humans are all about. We do have a limited ability to have an intuition about meaning in data, especially this modern multi-dimensional data. And so we need to understand what it means to have ambiguous data, data we can't understand, data we can't access. All of our courses go into very deep detail about meaning in data, sense making from data, storytelling in data. And it's all because of this, because our intuitions fail us in hyperspace. We evolved to make decisions in the physical world of our senses, not in hyperspace. And data confounds our spatial reasoning. It's really solid research about that. We do like stories more than stats. And data is what we choose to pay attention to. You've probably heard a lot about bias in data. Well, it's there, it's true. And we can't use bias in data we can't allow bias in data to propagate or amplify or continue to make prejudice worse. But what we can do is recognize that bias is also meaning and can tell us something. So we've got to be really careful about how we think about bias in data. How do you know you've got enough data? This is always a big challenge for people because at the moment it feels easy to go and get more data. You don't need to make a decision, you just go get more data. And every single decision we have to make, we have this choice, gathering new data or using the information we already have. There's a name for this, it's called the explore-exploit dilemma. Nature solves it by giving us a childhood. Parents look after us, cover us, we can explore, making a mess of the kitchen, pulling all the pots and pans out, putting paint everywhere, that's data gathering. So new information has value, but it also costs time. It's expensive to get. So you've always got to be weighing up, is it worth it, or should I just go with what I know? And there's some meta rules around this. If the pace of change is high, it makes sense to explore, go out, do more data, because you won't have time to actually use the information that you've got. It's not a stable world. That's what humans are for, knowing where it's unpredictable, knowing where to go in the data, knowing where to find new data, knowing how to resolve this tension. And with any new decision, there's a meta rule. You start off hot, cool down, randomly sample, explore, and then settle down and get that stable position for action. We can't actually act unless we have that stable position. We might think we can, but we can't. So how many times are you stuck on a decision? We actually kind of know the answer, but you're unable to take an action. It's because you're still exploring data. It's actually time to get that stable position. Look at what you know. Be really deliberate. So some nudges. The nudges we love for this. This is a go-to. You have to have this all the time. Feelings. Feelings come first. How does how you feel affect the way that you're processing information, the interpreting of that information? So how does that chart make you feel? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Why? Do you like wishful thinking? Is it something that you would like to have go away? Or do you really like it and want to see more of it? So just thinking straight out, where's that first hit of emotion? Where's that feeling and how's that going to drive me? Finding your emotional sweet spot. Not too much, not too intense, not too low. It's a really important one to recognize before it's too late. Decision making engages greater activation in emotion-related brain regions. So it's a very big part of how we make decisions. If our emotions are running too high, focus your attention, suppress stimuli, slow down, rethink. But if emotions are too muted, by the same token, that's not a good thing. You need to get some time pressure, ask more questions, put a little bit more pressure on yourself, make a decision. And finally, ambiguous data. Ambiguous data will make us use our intuition too much. Well, if there's no clear answer in the data, we're going to use our intuition more. And you can flip this around as well and say, I'm using my intuition a lot, or other people are using intuition a lot. Maybe it's because the data is ambiguous and I need to fix it. So this is where you can break down the problems more and consciously acknowledge that you're relying on intuition at times. So these are 3 quick nudges. We have another 47 more that we use all the time. Well, not all the time. We rotate them. And that's how we teach and train people so that you don't have to have that list of cognitive biases on the wall, which is pretty, but it won't work. What you really want is to start thinking about decision making as a practice and having these nudges. Just every day, learning a little bit more, practicing a bit more, and being more aware of how often your feelings are driving a particular adoption of information or a particular decision. So I hope you find this useful. Check us out, get in contact, and also check out our book, Make Better Decisions, at mbd.zone.